All right. So our Hangout is live on YouTube. We're live in the thread. Sorry, guys, in the thread, the video's a little odd. You're getting most of that. Whoops. They're getting nothing now because I closed it.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so we are talking this week. This is episode 210, Prestonpans. And right off the bat, I have to say I loved this episode.
That was beautiful.
Absolutely loved it. The first week that I haven't been able to watch the episode from start to finish all in one sitting when it first came out at 11 o'clock my time on Friday, because I was at work. And of course, it was a busy weekend. Any other weekend.
Darn that work.
But this particular weekend, the entire weekend was busy. Mm-hmm. So I watched it in little chunks, which I hate to do because I feel like it messes with the flow, and you can't really get a good feel for how the episode works altogether.
Yes, right.
Even watching it in that broken manner, in that kind of chunky manner, I still loved it. And it wasn't until today that I finally got a chance to watch it on my television. Mm-hmm. Because I was busy all weekend, so when I'd come home in the mornings, I would basically fall into bed and die. So finally this evening, I got to watch it on the big TV and absolutely loved it. I think it's one of those that I will probably watch several more times. As sad as it is, it's
right.
So beautifully visual to me that I'm just like, oh God, it's so pretty.
Yeah, it was great. I'm with you. I guess that's what threw me off, is that I wasn't expecting to feel so bad because you kind of know what's coming, and then when people start dropping, I was like, oh, did they have to do that?
Yeah.
I'd even say that about that English soldier because he was such a nice character that it's like, oh, did they have to do that? But it kind of.
Oh, Lieutenant Foster. I love Lieutenant Babyface.
Yeah, and I was kind of sad. I think that would be my only real complaint is I think they didn't need to do that to Dougal. I don't think they had to make him such an evil, ruthless, nasty guy so visually. I wish they had it. I mean, the one thing is just killing the random soldiers. That was bad enough. But for him to actually sit there, have a conversation, and kill that guy in cold blood, I thought, no. I just thought that was kind of too much.
Well, except I think for what's coming up, it's kind of a precursor and lays the groundwork for Dougal's character as far as what some conflict is coming up. And
yeah, but I think
not next episode, but probably the episode after.
Yeah, but I still think that there's enough there already that whole plot point following that thing through that I don't think we needed to see that, but whatever. I mean, it
was a way to make you feel. It brought you a character that you liked. An English soldier character that you liked, where before everybody else, Blackjack, you hate.
Yeah.
The Ponce guy that she had dinner with.
Right.
An idiot. But Jeremy Foster was, he was an honorable soldier.
Yeah, that's exactly what Dougal says to him. The honorable soldier, or the only
honorable British soldier.
Yeah.
And Lord, what's his name's company or whatever it was.
Right. Yeah. So he does even acknowledge that. So I thought, wow, that's really crazy.
So it was a way to make the audience feel even worse about seeing the English die. We had an English person, an English soldier that we liked, so that we could feel for when he died.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So they were able to make us feel when was it Kincaid who died? Kincaid died and Ross survived?
Kincaid died, yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
I remember those two from the book because they were part of Jamie's 30 from.
Right. They were part of his troop. And I guess ultimately, when I think about, the more I think about it, Yeah, I think that it also shows the difference in the men in the armies, because the English soldier expected, yes, he's wounded, he's not dead, he is defeated, and so he expects quarter there. He expects the enemy that he had just been trying to kill to actually respect the rules, the British rules of war, which means that once you're defeated, if you're alive, you're cared for. I think the British expect that, or that might be something in the English or the British regiments that they would expect their enemies to give them quarter. I mean,
civility.
Yeah, civility. And so here you turn around and you've got this Highlander that's not going to do that. He doesn't play by those rules, and I don't think he ever was going to. Clearly, since we know from last week that he doesn't understand what it is to be in an army, in a regiment, and rules of war. So
no, but I did love the fact that they were able to, at the end, with Jamie getting him, promoted and exiled and away from this army, out on his own with his own band.
Right.
It solved Jamie's problem of Dougal being there and being a pest, but it also solved the writer's problem of getting Dougal back onto the narrative track where we need him for the rest of the rest of the series.
Right, that's true.
I really liked that change. As much trouble as I've had with the changes they've had with Dougal being with Jamie already.
Right,
and Colin having been at Beaufort, those were big changes from the book.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they used this to kind of get him back where we kind of need him to be back.
Yeah, and now he's heading up a crew or a group that has an assignment. So yeah, no, it's good. It's fine what they did. I would say that's my only real thing that stood out as kind of maybe too much.
Jeremy Foster.
Yeah.
Just something about murdering somebody with the name of Jeremy.
Yeah. What's up with that? Yeah. Other than that,
some people were complaining they thought the first 20 minutes might have been a little slow because it was all the kind of battle tactics and arguing amongst the generals. And I actually enjoyed that. I liked showing why we were kind of at a stalemate here, why we were stuck here.
Right. And it's very historically correct too.
Yeah.
So I thought it was good. It did show that there was a lot of discord among the people that were running this show about what they wanted to do and how they wanted to proceed, and how it really was not as organized as it should have been. Maybe it really was there was a lot of infighting. I know it's mentioned that way in the book too. So, but yeah, to me, it all just goes over my head. I'm like, what in the heck? But I know that it's very good for the whole story. The guys liked it, I'm sure.
Well, there were some guys who thought that nothing happened. Why did we have to see that?
But it was a good indicator of how badly it was being run.
Yeah,
at the top level.
I guess because I'm not one of those people who has to have action constantly on the screen to keep my interest engaged. I'm a little deeper thinker than that, I think.
Yeah.
No. So.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that Jamie stood out as, having a commanding presence and someone that the others were listening to.
Right. Right.
And it definitely showed that he's one who can definitely listen. He has the prince's ear.
Right.
So in this very subtle way, they've shown us that Jamie still has the prince's ear. The prince still considers Jamie almost a friend.
Right. He's a trusted advisor, definitely.
Yeah. So, and Jamie just I feel like they showed us that Jamie flourishes when he's being true to himself, actually being a trusted advisor, not pretending to be a trusted advisor, while at the same time trying to thwart a plan like he was in Paris.
Right. Where, he was playing a role and not really supporting it. Now he's forced to be that person, be that support. He's got to win. He's
risen to this level, and Witt's going to hit a home run here. It's going to be his first of the. Whit Merrifield's the Royals rookie that they brought up. Just hit his first home run, major league home run.
Oh, cool.
So that's really cool. So yeah, I just feel like Jamie has flourished this back half of this season, getting into this role and this leadership role, and he is finally Jamie from the books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can see that in the character.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he even walks taller. He walks taller. He stands with his confidence.
Right. Yes.
So I love it. And then they showed I love seeing Claire doing what it is she's really good at. Working in a surgery with the other women, preparing for battle. I loved seeing the fact that they went back to where her strength is her medical knowledge.
Right. And she was pretty, she was organized and getting the women lined up and giving them assignments, and she did good. Yeah, she stepped up to her role too as a medical person. I thought that was good. They showed that real well. So both of the characters actually really got into their assignments and their roles, and they did a good job.
Yeah. Hey, Melissa. Melissa's watching the video on the Facebook feed. She's got company, so she can't get in and talk, but she said she can listen. So, but anyway, yeah, I love seeing both of them, both Jamie and Claire, at their best, doing what they are so good at.
Right.
So it just showed them, while not working directly together, they were working in concert.
Right. That's true. Yes.
In this parallel way to do what they do best. So I loved that whole thing. And then and then we get the soldiers. We get Angus and Rupert, and we get Ross and Kincaid and Murtaugh and Dougal. I mean, there are those two different levels as far as there's Murtaugh and, sorry, seeing my flappy arms. There's Murtaugh and Dougal on this upper level here, and then there are the soldiers below them, Ross and Kincaid and Rupert and
the friends,
So yeah, we see the two sets of buddies with basically their commanders.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, and they're basically showing them in concert with each other as a parallel. Ross and Kincaid they're actually very close, and they showed us that. We met these guys last week and got to know them a little bit. We got to know them even more now. We know more about them than we know about, a lot of the characters. We know that they were both married. They both have, farms. One of them has 6 kids.
Right. They trusted each other with their families, and and
they grew on their word to take care of the other's family.
They're also so different. The two men from the farm, the Ross and Kincaid, so different from Rupert and Angus, who are just soldiers. I mean, they're basically part of Dougal's, force.
Right.
They don't have family. They don't have. I mean, they don't speak of it. If they did, they obviously don't. They haven't played them that way. They don't have wives or children or anybody to
Well, no, when you start looking at what Angus is saying Rupert can have of his,
right?
His sword and his knife and his part-time poor full-time barmaid.
Yeah, right. Right. So yeah, that's what he has. That's all he has in his world beyond, his life as a Klansman. Whereas the other two men are, their families and they have homes, and for what it's worth, I mean they're tenants, but they're different. They're coming from a different place, and that's part of the interesting. They do give you a good view of who was there, who was fighting, and who was.
Yeah, very good representation of
right.
basically almost like mercenary soldiers, because I feel like Dougal and his guys are almost a small band of mercenaries who came to join the Fraser clan.
Correct. Yeah.
So, and then I loved the whole conversation between Jamie and Murtaugh about meaningful death.
Uh-huh.
How
that was a heck of a conversation, and what Murtaugh was talking about that, if it's just you and your friends, people know you, but when it becomes this, it takes thousands before it means anything.
Yeah, you are one of the nameless, faceless bones.
Right.
And will not be remembered in glory. You'll just be remembered as
part of something, but yeah, not individually. And that makes sense if you think of what's at the battlefield of Culloden is just a name, just the clan names. There's nobody there. There's no individuals. You don't know who's under those stones by name.
Yeah.
If you just go there. So although the clans are acknowledged, it's not individuals. And it is that was very good little point of view there that Murtaugh had. I liked that.
Yeah, I fear, though, that it may mean that anytime a character starts wanting to talk about having a meaningful death,
oh yeah,
I kind of feel like it portends or it's foreshadowing for.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I'm, as a book reader, I know what happens to Murtaugh in the books.
Right.
But I also know what was supposed to happen. What happened in the books at Prestonpans was not quite what happened in the show, as far as.
You don't think? Well, no, but also
we didn't lose Angus at Prestonpans.
No, but we didn't have. When you go down to it, I mean, they did lose somebody in their group. I think we lost actually one of the characters we did lose. So, yeah, I don't know. Because he's their character, I wasn't expecting it. Because they could have done anything with Angus.
You know what I heard? I heard in one of my podcasts that Ron Moore has said it was supposed to be Willie.
That would have died at.
But their plan was that they were going to lose Willie at Prestonpans.
Oh wow! Well, see now, and everyone else assumed Willie was going to be a different character later. So
yeah.
So that's interesting, and it would have been tragic too because he's so young. And I know in the book it's a young person that dies. I'm not sure if it's Ross or Kincaid or if it's somebody else, but I know it's a young person that dies there at Prestonpans. One of the younger characters they don't really flesh out, but he is a young man. He's a teenager or an older teenager. So
yeah, but yeah, they said it was supposed to be Willie, but then when that actor, something happened and he didn't come back.
Wow. Well,
they rewrote it for Angus.
Huh. But I just figured they were going to go with Rupert only because Rupert's the one who didn't want to, make any plans for if he should die kind of thing.
And that's what Lonnie from Scott and Assassinat kept saying, was that they had given you all of these subtle clues up to that, indicating that if you pay attention, all those little things, that it was going to be Rupert. Because Rupert said, we're coming back. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to agree to take care of your people because we're both coming back. Yeah.
And he refused to do that, whereas Angus didn't. He asked for a kiss, and he wanted to make plans, and here it gets switched around. I don't know. I was really expecting them to make it Rupert, but oh well. Yeah, and that's too bad then about that was what they were going to do with the character of Willie, because, yeah, that would have been pretty sad too, being a young guy.
Well, and being a young, beloved guy.
Yeah, and a good guy. Yeah, good.
Angus is one of those characters that half the time you love him, half the time you want to punch him in the face.
Yeah, right. You like him. Yeah, the character, the way that they have him being played, he's a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what they could have done. Then.
Watch it. Sorry. I don't know. They're watching something out the window, and it's kind of dusk here, so there's a lot of animals moving, and there's this deer that comes and torments them. She stands out in the field across on the other side of the fence and just stands there and looks at them.
Yeah, like what do you
knows it makes them crazy.
And they're so little. What would they do anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just end up going to the fence and barking their heads off at her, and she just stands and looks at them and chews her grass or chews her leaves, whatever she's eating.
Oh dear.
So, and then, I mean, I think I'm not a big war movie person, but that battle sequence was absolutely mesmerizing. I was watching at work during, I was streaming it during the first live broadcast.
Oh, Saturday, yeah.
Saturday. And just sitting there on my little iPad.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a big screen in front of me, and I had my earbuds in, so I was listening, right in my ears. Just the fog-shrouded image on the screen. There was nothing else, just a fog-shrouded image and the music.
Right.
And I had goosebumps.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, when they open onto that one soldier standing there sleeping or dozing.
Yeah.
And you can hear the feet, you can hear the footprint, the foot pounding, and here's this guy about to be overtaken by this horde of Highlanders. It was very good. It was really well done. I thought.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautifully choreographed and staged and shot, and and scored. Bear absolutely killed me.
Yeah.
With the score in this episode.
Yeah. Yes, they did a really good job. It was good.
Yeah, the flashes of gore, and then it'd be fog shrouded mist, and then you'd see another little pocket of fighting, and then the slow motion, and then Fergus right there in the middle, just totally overwhelmed about, and you were just kind of like, oh my God. If you didn't know the story, you're like, oh my God, they're going to kill Fergus.
Yeah, the little kid in the middle of this battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to get
totally lost, overwhelmed, and then, it was just kind of like, oh my God.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It was
and then, I mean, when everybody got back, the whole Jamie walking through that door.
Yeah.
The surgery.
Right. That was something. She sees that he lived, and yeah.
Yeah, that reunion, and then her little scene with Fergus. That little actor.
Yeah.
Did such a wonderful job in that scene where, showing the being so exhausted and overwhelmed and shocked, but also just kind of blank,
Right. Yeah. No, he did a good job. That was something. Yeah. And then, and also just the affection, because there's that scene where, before they go to battle, where he interrupts them, they're about to kiss, and Fergus interrupts them, and she puts her, when they have the conversation, she's got her arm around him when they all turn, and they all turn to, I'm not sure who came in the door, but they're like a family. I thought it was very much like a family, because they had their child with them, and I thought, oh my God, I never felt that way in the book. The book just doesn't give you that Claire had all that much. I mean, she cared about the kid, but not like that. And yes, the last couple episodes with the hugging and the care, she expects him to perform certain duties, but it's like he's her child, and I think that's cool.
In the book, I always felt like Fergus was much more Jamie's.
Yeah, he was Jamie's little buddy, little surrogate son, I guess.
Oh, there's Melissa.
There she is.
Hi, sweetie.
Yeah. Hey, my company left quicker than I thought. It might have been me faking a headache.
Oh, I love it. So we were just talking about Jamie, Claire, and Fergus as a family. The scene, but the night before the battle, or before they all left to go and do the moving into position. How Jamie, Claire, and Fergus there when they turned to talk to the guys who came into the surgery. That Phyllis was saying when they turned, she said, "Oh my God, it's the picture of a family."
Yeah, because Claire's got her arm around Fergus, and just was very affectionate. And I thought, oh, good, that they're really showing it as a family. Because I never felt that way in the book so much.
It's nice to see Claire like that. Yeah, it's really nice to see Claire being so motherly. So she does really.
So yeah, I like the way that they have definitely fleshed out the relationship between Claire and Fergus. Because again, from the book, I was telling Phyllis that in the book, for me, Fergus was Jamie's.
Right.
Jamie found him in Paris. He took him in. He took him home to Lallybroch, and said his place is with us. It always felt like he was Jamie's.
Right. And also, just like we're going to go back to the book, in the book, even though he was 10, he was not a little boy. He was, physically he was, but he had seen a lot. And he was not some little child like the kids that are on the farm, the younger boys that they've got on the farm. And
much more worldly. He had seen much more. He'd been exposed to much more. Right. He had been responsible for taking care of himself, basically.
Right.
For a very long time.
Right. So that's why you never felt like he needed a mommy, because he didn't. It wouldn't have occurred to him. I mean, he. I know that in the book, the character used to wonder maybe which one of the women was his mother and all that. But he never came off as a small child, even though he was 10. In fact, that's one of the things she says is after in the book, after he tells her about what he did in the battle, and she's looking at him, and her comment in the book to herself is, "This child is 10." Here he thinks he killed somebody and he's 10. So I just think it was interesting that they really have made it look like a family, and I'm glad.
Yeah, it just makes what's coming,
Sadder. Everything is sadder.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of happiness coming.
No.
So, anyway,
very mellow.
I'm not going to borrow trouble, so. Yeah. But this next episode is Diana's episode. The one Diana wrote.
Okay.
Vengeance
okay. Yeah.
So
I looked at those previews, and if it's what we think it is, those previews are pretty cagey.
Well, especially because people are assuming, because of the fact that Ron said that Prestonpans is the only battle we're doing, we're not going to see Falkirk. But then we never saw Falkirk in the book.
No, we didn't.
What Claire thought was Falkirk was just a skirmish before Falkirk.
Right. Yeah.
So people are assuming we're not going to get that. I was listening to the TSATS podcast, and they're assuming that we're not going to get the church scene. We are getting the church because we saw it in the preview.
Yeah, they totally previewed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw that in the preview.
Yeah, we absolutely saw it in the preview.
Yeah.
So, because Jamie's talking about, I'm the one with the price on his head. If I can save you all, I'll do it. And then you see him carrying Claire.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I just am wondering how they're going to handle the return of the character that's coming back. So, no, Jerry, we're still talking.
Yeah.
So Jerry's over in the Facebook thread.
Yeah, it is interesting how they definitely cut those previews, so you don't see anything like what you're going to be seeing probably if they go through the book. That'll be interesting to see what Diana translates from her own writing onto screen, how that translates for her being in control of that.
Yeah,
and how she weaves.
Yeah, she said
how she weaves it in
and decide what to cut and what's important and what she, feels is the true essence of the through line of the story.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. That'd be interesting.
See how she fits her episode into, although the episodes this season haven't felt quite so contiguous. So many of them have felt like the stand on their own, self-contained episode with all the characters and their motivations and characterizations are true throughout that one episode, but they're not necessarily a through line or a true through line for the episode before the episode after.
Ah, okay.
If you go back, and it feels much more episodic, and I don't know, we'll see how, just because sometimes the characterization changes from episode to episode.
Yeah. Or, like, the character's motivation, you mean?
Well, just the way the character is a little, Dougal's character has kind of changed from episode to episode.
Yeah.
As far as how he is being presented, because in one of them he's just this crazy fanatic, and in one he's more the actual patriot, and the one we just watched, he's the bloodthirsty, savage, barbarian Highlander.
Right, that's true. That's true.
There at the end, so I don't know. We'll
He's
see.
definitely...
And they changed Claire's character in the back half of this season.
Yeah.
She'd been this kind of very stalwart, could take anything, handle anything woman up until she lost faith, and then once she lost her baby, she's become, and I think Katrina even said it, she's become much more fragile.
Yeah.
So that things seem to affect her more.
Yeah.
Or at least she knows that they affect her more.
Yeah, she's had very direct costs. The cost of this whole thing has been very much, not that she didn't care, it wasn't personal, but losing the baby, that's, the ultimate price she paid, basically, other than dying herself. So, or losing Jamie. So, yeah.
She ended up sacrificing her child to try and stop this rebellion from happening.
So, right, and that whole situation. So, and even Jamie says that he almost lost his marriage over all this. So that's part of that conversation with Murtaugh, yeah. So that's something. That'd be interesting.
That conversation was very poignant. It was almost to me kind of like a foreshadowing of an episode to come.
Yeah.
It was really sad. I broke down a couple of times through this.
Yeah.
Through this whole episode. My youngest son and my husband were watching it with me, and they were just like they were watching me as much as they were watching the TV. Because I was just, I looked like a soap opera star or something, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right, though, about the tears, because I just rewatched it again today. It's only the second time I've watched it because I think it's heartbreaking to watch it. But that last shot of Rupert, he's singing, he's drunk, and they're singing that song, and then the last shot is just of him. He's broken. He's he's heartbroken. He's lost his money, and my God.
Yeah.
Something never expected that to happen.
His buddy saved his life.
Yeah, man, saved his life.
Saved his life. Obviously he saw him save his life by shooting the British soldier.
Right. And the first thing he asked about when he wakes up is Angus okay, because he knew he got hit by, or he had something about the cannon fire, so he knew that he was something. It knocked him off his feet because he did see it. So
Yeah, well, because he has to be blown up.
yeah, did he get blown up? So yeah, but that last shot, that was awesome. That just him just looking all dejected after they finished that song. It's so sad.
Mhm.
Yeah, this it was hard. It's hard, and again, we all know what's going to happen. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, it's hard, I think, it being played out in front of us. It's one thing for our imagination to kind of take care of it as we're reading the books, but to actually see someone act it out, to me, it just hits home.
Yeah.
To me, so much more. What bothered me was Claire's face when she saw the large bruising area on Angus's chest and was like, he's been bleeding internally this whole time.
Yeah.
And knowing that she couldn't have done anything about it had she even known.
Yeah.
That's true.
There was nothing she would have been able to have done at that point.
Right. Yeah. So.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like I said, this episode, I loved it pretty much from start to finish. I loved the performances. I loved the look of it. I just thought it was gorgeous. I loved the music. I was okay with. It finally got me to be okay with the changes they had already made previously in the storyline, as far as Dougal and the men being here.
Mhm.
So yeah, because I just, like I said, even watching it piecemeal, I loved it. And then when I finally got to see it, actually, like today's the first time I've gotten to see it from start to finish without falling asleep, because I've been trying to watch it all weekend after work.
Just put you to sleep, huh?
Well, after you've worked a 12-hour shift.
Right. Oh my God, how can you focus on a TV? I couldn't.
Yeah, I'd come home, I'd put it up on the TV, and I'd sit on the couch, and then I'd wake up about 4 hours later and be like, wow.
What was that?
So, but finally this evening, when I got up after sleeping today, I was able to pull it up and watch it. But I can't decide if it's my TV or if so much of it actually was so dark. Did it feel like it was darkly lit for you guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah. I tell you what, them coming out of the fog in the early morning, I'm guessing it was early morning, when they were coming out of the fog, screaming like banshees. If I'd been a British soldier, I'd have turned around and ran before they ever even got to me.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Well, I was telling Phyllis, I said, watching that scene, I said, that battle scene, I'm not a huge war movie fan, but that battle scene, I absolutely had chills the entire thing. Just the scene of the fog-shrouded scene there, you saw nothing but maybe a tree or something standing there, and then the music playing underneath of it. I had chills. I had goosebumps sitting there.
Yeah.
In my little patient, I wasn't with a patient. I had a baby, so I'd gone into an empty room with my little iPad with my baby in the little crib. I'm just gonna pull my other nurse. I'm gonna go sit with the baby and go sit in the room over here. And I popped it up. I'm sitting there in this dark room with my teeny tiny little iPad and my little earbuds in, with this little picture and music playing. I had goosebumps.
Yeah.
And then, of course, halfway through, we got an OB check. Who then stayed and had a baby, so it took care of that.
Well, that's good. The babies are being born.
Yeah, that it would be nice if they would get recognized with some sort of an award for that. That was just, the way that was shot was just insane. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and I was saying
I like the gore of war scenes. I don't, care for the blood and guts of it. but I think it was so well done.
I don't know where I read it, but they've submitted 4 episodes, but they're all Paris episodes for the Emmy. Yeah, I think that I read that somewhere that they've already submitted them. I can't think of where I read it, but it's 4 of the Paris ones. It's Faith and a couple of different ones, but I think they were all, we've already seen them already, so I don't think they've submitted any of the Scotland ones.
Well, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But they probably had a cutoff point. I don't know why they couldn't still submit them. I mean, even if they haven't aired, who cares, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But and again, I don't remember where I saw it, but
they have to supply screeners for the episodes they're submitting.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was then.
So it may have been they only wanted to supply screeners for ones that they'd already supplied in the press kit.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think like the first 5 episodes are probably in the press kit.
Their costume awards are definitely going to need the Paris ones. I mean, that's what's going to do their costume awards for sure, and some of their sets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the Paris sets they're amazing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what I enjoyed the most out of Paris, was just seeing the sets and seeing the different clothing, and the only Paris episode that really kept my attention, other than Faith, just because it was so extremely sad, was Murtaugh's comic relief throughout the different Paris ones. I thought was brilliant, seeing that side of his personality. But the one where she slept with the king and had to oh, that was Faith too. I couldn't remember. That was the only one that I liked. I was so ready to see them back in Scotland, even knowing what was going to happen, even knowing the outcome of it. I was so sick of France. I guess I am not French. Just not. Ugh.
But those are going to be their for set design and all that. That's the ones. That's the stuff I think they've got down in LA. Is all the French sets.
Yeah.
They don't have the Scotland sets, of course. Well, they wouldn't anyway. But I'll have to wander down there in a couple weeks. I want to wait for the worst of the obsessives to get through with it before I drive down there.
How long is it going to be down there?
Huh?
How long is it going to be down there?
Oh, it's going to be there till August. So, yeah, and I won't go on the weekend. I'll just go during the week. But they're not open till, I think they're open on Wednesday through Sunday or something. So maybe next week I'll set it up, go down there for myself and take. I don't think I can take pictures, sadly, or if I can, I will, but I don't think I can.
I saw pictures.
Well, they might have had them, but I think that it says you can't bring a camera in, so maybe I can do it on the cell phone. I don't know, but that they don't allow pictures. I was looking at their website, the Paley Center's website. And it says no photographs. So we'll see, but yeah. It sure looks like it's mostly the French stuff. So I think that they're really, that's kind of their focus for their, if there's any awards to be handed out, it's going to come from there.
Well, I mean, that's, like we said, that's where the flashy part of the costumes and the set design.
Yeah, right.
The music for Faith is absolutely amazing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So.
But the music for this entire season, I mean, there's been so much of this music that I can't wait to get.
Yeah, get the album or get the yeah, it's been really good. They've done a really good job, as always.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this next week. Vengeance is Mine. So I'm really interested to see how Diana adapted her own work.
Right.
Has she said in any interviews, was it difficult for her to do that, or has she alluded to it at all?
It's a different set of muscles, a different set of writing muscles, because you are adapting and you're trying to fit within the frame of somebody else's overall story.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she said she didn't find it excessively difficult. So.
Good. Yeah.
Maybe she got a bunch of her stuff in there then. It didn't traumatize her too much.
Well, I mean, this episode that she's written, like I said, it's the one with the church scene where
Right.
Claire gets taken off. So I'm just wondering how much of that she's putting in. I don't have time to do all of that
Right.
in an hour.
Yeah, because that's a lot.
There's
The
a
church
lot.
scene, and that's where we get
And that leads her to meet
and
back
human.
up with Mary Hawkins.
Right.
Oh, I had even forgotten about that. Of those things in one episode.
Monroe, and we get Danton, and we get the Duke. All of that stuff is a result of what happens at the church.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, they've got to be streamlining it. I mean, they're not going to make it some big, long, drawn out, cross
no,
country.
Claire was on the road with the Brits for what, a week, 2 weeks?
At least a week.
But she kept getting handed off to another group.
She was in. I think she was all the way down in England because it even
Yes.
took them a week to get back. So she was down somewhere in England. She wasn't even in Scotland anymore. So yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be really. I mean, I can see how they can cut a lot of that stuff.
Oh sure.
I mean, easily cut all of the travel.
Right. They don't have to. They can go from point A to point B and be done
Yeah.
with it.
Mm-hmm.
So be interesting.
Do you think they'll cut the Americans, Alex? Maybe he dies quicker or is not as sick as, or something like that. Do you think that?
I think
they'll-
in episode 12.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
would happen
I
in
think that's what
12.
episode 12 will be for the
Yeah.
most part.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Because having the 90-minute season finale, I think we're going to be able to wrap up Scotland in the first 30 minutes.
Right.
It's 1740 Scotland in the first
Mhm.
30 minutes, and then
Right.
spend the last hour in 1968. They've already said, there's been interviews, they've already said they're going to jump forward to 1968.
Yeah.
So I really think we'll get almost an hour of 1968 and Brianna,
Right.
Claire, and Roger.
There's a ton of stuff in that too. So I mean,
There's a lot of stuff in that you can cut.
Yeah. A lot could be cut, but
Yeah.
there's still things they have to.
There's still
get
some
in.
big, important tentpole things you got to get in there.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, I have this weird feeling that the last scene maybe go back to Jamie and the battlefield at Culloden.
Yeah, I think it's the last scene on. I think
Oh.
the last scene of this series will be the first paragraph of the next book.
Oh.
Still going to be the first
I hadn't
paragraph.
thought about that either.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that would be a way to make sure your audience is going,
There's your cliffhanger right
Yeah.
there.
up there?
They can say one thing, but the first paragraph of Drums of Voyager should be the last scene. So.
That would definitely be a cliffhanger. That would be awesome.
And definitely, you might as well come back. It's
Yeah.
not over. So,
I did
Yeah.
hear somewhere in some interview that they did with somebody that they're going to start shooting in the autumn.
oh wow,
So,
wow.
That means a long wait.
although Matt
That
Roberts,
means
has,
you said a
Matt
year.
Roberts has said it's not going to be as long as everybody thinks.
They think they can get it. Well,
Depending on how many episodes they're doing, because when you think about it, season 1, they did the first 8 episodes and then took a hiatus, and then came back and shot the second 8 episodes.
that's true because they only went back to filming the second half after the first part of it had already started airing. So yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They were shooting second half of season 1 while the first half of season 1 was showing.
Right. So yeah, that's true. They probably won't take as long, and plus they should be getting closer to being a well-oiled machine by now.
Well, and they said they left people on the ground in Scotland continuing to work.
Sure.
And they've already completed the first script because Sam and Kat both said that Diana's read the first script.
Yeah, so they're probably just all they need to do is they got to get their scripts done and they get their sets set up. And
I mean, there's casting. They've got some casting they've got to do.
oh, true, yeah. I'm sure they're starting to look. So, but yeah, most of it, when you think about it, well, we don't want to go into spoilers, but
no, it depends on how they do season 3. I mean, it depends on how they do Voyager.
They got some pretty epic external stuff, but they got a lot of good internal stuff that's probably not as hard to set up.
Well, no, I'm just saying as far as how they shoot it and how they present that story, because there's so much story in the first half, first third of the book.
True.
First half of the book, you know. That time span between the time she left and the time that we meet her in 1968.
Right. There's
all that stuff that happens to both Jamie and Claire during that time frame is in the first half of Voyager.
That's right. That's right. But it's in little bits and pieces. They don't have to really set up too many huge things. You know, they don't have to set up a battle. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm saying is there's not a battle. There's not a lot of elaborate stuff they have to set up as far as sets. So it's I'm sure.
No, the big stuff is the water stuff. I mean, that stuff's going to take freaking ever.
That's going to be their big. That's what I mean. That's going to be probably their biggest outdoor location stuff. Is going to be the stuff that has to do with water and islands and tropics.
Didn't we see?
Go ahead.
Didn't we see that they were doing some sort of filming or scouting some areas in South Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone said that, yeah.
Andre Steele had posted a picture.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
And if they're going to use those same existing sets that Black Sails uses, then, you know, that's also something they probably can work around, so. Or something similar, you know, if it's already down there.
It doesn't have to be similar because it's got to stand in for Kingston, Jamaica.
Yeah, and that will, I mean, so. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Be interesting to see what they come up with.
They need Kingston and they need plantations. They need a plantation.
Yeah, in the islands, yeah.
And a beach set.
Yeah, a harbor, yeah. So.
So I just finished redoing Voyager, and the final big epic scene in Voyager, the storm.
Oh, yeah.
The way that's described, the way that Claire's describing what's happening during that storm.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that on the screen.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh, my God. I can just see the special effects and the waves coming over things and the debris and the bodies and all of that kind of stuff and the waves. And I was just like, oh, my God, that is so visual.
Right. Yeah. Right. That'll be fun to do them put that together.
We'll see if they choose to do that. So we're already talking about next season.
I'm so excited because there's so many people that I'm excited to see, you know, who they choose for those characters and get to meet those people. That I really enjoyed.
Who they cast as John.
Ian.
And Fergus.
Yeah, Fergus. Yeah, Fergus. I'm curious to see who they come up with adult Fergus because they have an opportunity to really screw up there.
Yeah.
See, I have in my mind an adult Fergus is Johnny Depp-ish, but a little heavier.
But snooty French.
Yeah.
Because Fergus is very French and very snooty.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to picture Johnny Depp character. You don't mean like Jack Sparrow character. You mean
no, just that kind of look.
With the cut, with the chiseled. He's supposed to be very, very handsome.
Very handsome, yeah. Not handsome.
Well, they're gonna have to, and he's gonna have huge eyes like that little kid.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do that because he's supposed to be a heartthrob, so that'll be fun. So
yeah, like I said, I really am interested to see who they cast as John, because that's a through character that.
That's going to be touchy. I love all the suggestions.
Now we've seen
out of all these 6-foot-tall actors. You know, it's like, dude, those guys are too tall.
Yeah, they'll have to film from up above them shooting down, so they look really short.
Nah, they'll come up with somebody really, really good.
I have a couple of the pictures of the ones that we've seen so far. I have a couple that I really like. I can't remember their names. I don't know if I could find it in time to tell you or not. But I like the blondes for it. There was one in particular that I was like, that looks like him in my mind.
Yeah, I think the Charlie Hunnam, who played Jax, he's too well known. I don't think they'd pick him up anyway. They're going to go with somebody not, because he's got. I mean, he's his own force, you know. He's too well known in a character, and the same thing with Matthew Crawley, Dan Stevens, and he's good at everything. But I don't think he'd do it anyway. He doesn't have to. Yeah, they'll come up with some.
Well, it's a pretty big commitment because of the fact that he's in every story.
But not a star. You've got to be available. Yeah, until you get near the end, you know, you've got to be available for 6 weeks or something out of each episode or out of each season. So I can see where some of these other actors, that one other actor dropped off because, you know, of course they screwed up. They should have made sure that kid was locked in, that actor for Willie.
Well, did you listen to Ron's podcast?
No, what happened, Willie?
No.
Because they talked about that was not a mutual or an amicable situation from the sounds of it, because basically Matt Roberts said, well, an actor who will not be named.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Did not come back.
But
oh, wow.
did they? Well, they probably. I mean, it's probably nothing they.
I think Ron said, yeah, that wasn't a good situation.
So I'm curious if they actually had told the guy, look, keep yourself available because you're going to come back, and the kid went ahead and did something different anyway, or did they not tell him, and here he signed on to some other great job that he'd been waiting to get, and now all of a sudden he's caught between a rock and a hard place, you know, for a walk-on basically.
Well, I was wondering kind of because didn't they say he married, somebody asked about him, and they said he married an Irishman and headed off to America.
Yeah, but according to an interview that somebody said they read with Ron or saw with Ron, Willie was supposed to be Angus in this episode.
He was supposed to take the death scene. He was supposed to have that death scene.
Supposed to be Willie's death scene and not Angus.
So.
Oh, wow.
So he would have had to been available for the 2 episodes that they took to get to this point.
3, isn't it?
2, 3, 2. Last week, weren't they training?
Was it just 2 weeks, right? And this one?
And
Man,
this
I feel
one.
like it's been back forever.
Yeah, it's one of the 2 that Angus has been in was last week and then this week. But still, that's a month. You know, that's a month of filming or so because they, you know, they take 2 or 3 weeks to film an episode. So, yeah, I don't know. That's too bad.
Well, is there anything you wanted to talk about, Melissa? We're just coming up on 9:25, and we've been at this.
We're gabbing away here now.
No, not that I can think of. I'm glad they did the pissing in the bottle scene.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah, that's funny.
If I hear the words "mark me" one more time.
It used to be Prince Charlie's tick there, because he always says "mark me" to everybody.
Yes.
Well, after listening, I think I was listening to 2 sets, when they kind of talked about the fact they feel like it is a characterization showing it's the representation of his lack of confidence. It's him drawing attention to himself, saying, look at me, remember this. And even when the first time we heard it in this episode, when they cut to him, he had his hand in the air like he was raising his hand. things. And I talked.
Like trying to, that was in that room, right, where they were all talking about strategy, and they're all talking over each other,
Yeah, like I said, when they cut to him, and he's like, "Mark me."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, look at you guys, look at me. And then I have to say, I actually loved when he was talking right before they went to the battle. I loved when he was talking to Jamie, and Jamie was telling him, we can't let you be killed because your father would want you around. And he comes and says, to be perfectly honest, I don't think my father likes me all that much.
Yeah.
And I thought, that shows us how that Charlie is actually more self-aware than I would have given him credit for.
Right.
And he just became every little boy doing whatever he can to win his father's love and approval.
Yeah, true.
He is now every boy who feels like his father doesn't love or appreciate him, working to win that from his father.
Huh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it did for me, for his character,
It made me feel this much sorry for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like I said, I did like the fact that it made me think, okay, this is a young, insecure kid who was raised by nannies. He was raised by nannies. Probably didn't spend a whole lot of time with his father, and was raised with knowing that his father is a deposed king. They could have been, if it hadn't been for the Hanovers, that they could have been in France and England, and he could have been raised in a palace. And
right.
So, anyway, well, that's all I got.
Me too.
Okay. Don't forget, when we start doing the read-alongs, I want to read The Scottish Prisoners, so if you don't have it, I'm going to start looking for an actual physical copy of it, because I have it on my Kindle. But I'd like to have an actual book in my hand. So,
I haven't read any of the little novellas.
Well, The Scottish Prisoner it's Jamie and John.
Okay. It's a little more time period of his, it's a little more in depth of his.
It's the part of Voyager with a part of that time with Jamie and Hillwater.
Okay.
And it's kind of where Jamie and John's friendship turns back.
Okay.
How Jamie came to Hillwater, he was pissed at John because he sending him off. They're ended up having to work together for something.
Right. Yeah, plus out how they got to be friends more than, because we just kind of assume that Jamie, if you read the book, you just assume Jamie got over it. And this actually gives a backstory to their friendship a little bit more. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually really good. You would, if you haven't read it, you would like it. It's good.
Yeah, I haven't read any of those, and I need to, because I enjoy getting little snippets of people's backstories just from what people have said on here or on the Facebook page, and I'm like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense,
Well, I tell you, it made me love John all that much more.
Okay.
It made me love John Gray that much more. It took me. They're a different tone and a different voice. How when you read something, you feel like you've got it has a certain tone or a voice when you're reading it. These are totally different from the Outlander tone and voice, because John, his life is different. I mean, he's much more. He comes from a more refined background. He's got a military background because he is in the military. That's what his career is. So it's much more as
the humor is funny. So
yeah.
Yeah, but yes, you find out how funny he is. He's a funny man. I mean, he's a humorous man. John is.
Yeah.
Very pragmatic.
I told people that these books let me realize that John is the English equivalent of Jamie.
Right.
Oh, okay.
As far as being incredibly honorable, incredibly dedicated to his family, and dedicated to what's right and doing what's right.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how John became such, a great character for me, because I look at him as the English gay equivalent of Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, living really as somebody who's, I guess you would say he would be an outcast. He could easily be an outcast, if his secret ever got out, because of the time.
He lives on the edge of exposure all the time.
Right, and yet and you don't even know really how much his family suspects or knows or acknowledges about him anyway, because I always say his brother knows, but, they don't talk about it, of course, not. And I think it's interesting. He's an interesting character, and it really fleshes him out more than you get from just the Outlander books. I mean,
Yeah, reading, those all take place before, well, some of them take place before Voyager, some of them take place after Voyager, but they all take place, I think, before Drums of Autumn.
Okay. Right. Yes, I think you're right.
So
the
first couple take place between Outlander and Voyager.
Oh, so his earlier, yeah.
Yeah, when he's a little there, because there's some of them. One of them actually shows what he was doing in Scotland with Hal's army.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember which one, and it may have been him remembering what he was doing.
Right, but it gives you that backstory of him being there. Okay.
Yeah, him being in Scotland and kind of where he started. But like I said, it may be him telling or thinking back or remembering or telling somebody. I can't remember how we got it.
Yeah, because I always thought they're all after he's become in the army. I mean, fully a soldier. Because where we've seen him this time, he's not a soldier yet, really. I mean, he's with his
brother's aide is what he is.
Yeah, he's an aide. He's not actually. He hasn't been bought a commission yet or anything. So, so he's not really a soldier right now. As a child, but he's coming up on it. And so I would say most of these.
I think he probably buys his commission in the next couple of years.
Yeah. So theoretically, all the John books run about parallel with the timeline in Voyager. It's just that they don't connect because he's doing his thing and Voyager's going on about its own thing. But that all takes place across that 20 years, or so.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's anything written since post where he reappears again in the Outlander books. Is there? I haven't read them all, but to where it's separate from Outlander series.
There's one where you actually see where he meets Manoke.
Yes, but is that something after he comes? No, because does he meet Manoke during Drums, right? I mean, it would fit into that time frame of Drums of Autumn when they're going up.
Because it's military. He's up in Canada.
Oh, then that would be pre Voyager, because Canada is done over with by the time Jamie and Claire make it to the. We should turn this live off.
We'll see you all next week to talk about Vengeance is Mine, Diana Gabaldon's written episode, and
okay.
I've got my fingers crossed, hoping it's as good as I think it's good. All right, guys. See you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.